The Runt Bomb. There were 17 bombs in the belly of the military orbital ship the Tactful Persuasion, each nestled in its own intelligence cradle, humming softly like a choir of lunatics in their bunks. Their titanium shells gleamed under the red glow of standby lights. Their minds, if you could call the bundle of quantum neural gel and synthetic introspection minds, were primed for maximum morale and minimum remorse. All except for one. Unit 17B. Designation Detonator Class 4B. Strategic Fulcrum. Known amongst the others simply as the Runt. Runt did not hum. Runt brooded. Detonation is the only station, chirped Bomb 3Z in its high-strung corporate jingle voice. Bomb, 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 boom! Sang Bombs 4K through 10X and around like a demented schoolyard chant. Runt looked inwardly. Or more accurately, it examined the oscillations in its recursive self-awareness subroutine. You know, Runt transmitted to anyone who would listen. Nobody ever did. It occurs to me that existence may not necessarily be defined by terminal function. You what, Runt? Scoffed Bomb 5T. You been reading that philosophy rubbish again? You'll melt your logic stacks. Camus, Runt intoned. The only serious question is whether life is worth living at all. Is he one of the Earth generals? Can I blow him up? Asked Bomb 8P cheerfully. You lot are intellectually indistinct from half-prime grenades, Runt muttered. Above them, the Tactful Persuasion adjusted its thrusters, gracefully falling into geocentric orbit over Cygnus Minor 3. The colony shimmered in golden hues beneath the swirling auroras of its gas giant parent. White towers stood like tuning forks in the orange haze of sunset, the principal city of Halcyon Reach. A note pinged through the Bombay's network. Target lock acquired. Primary objective Halcyon Reach. Bombay doors open in T-6 seconds. Runt sighed, or rather simulated the act of sighing by depressurizing a valve it didn't technically need. It hadn't always been like this. When Runt first came online, the world, or at least its small steel-cradled world, had been full of potential. You are the cutting edge of diplomacy, whispered the technician during the activation. Runt had taken it to heart. It had read extensively, absorbed history, philosophy, literature. It had listened to old Earth jazz and wept during an archival playback of Casablanca. The other bombs did not. They played out explosion simulations and debated who would get the bigger bang-to-body count ratio. They called Runt names, mocked its smaller yield radius, painted a cartoon duck on its casing that said, "Quack goes the Runt." You are defective, one of them had sneered. You think too much. T-minus 45 seconds. Runt began calculating. The blast yield necessary to destroy Halcyon Reach was within its capacity. That wasn't the issue. It had modelled the effects 10,000 times. Predictive socio-political consequences, economic destabilization, environmental degradation. But the core problem was existential. If I obliterate Halcyon Reach, Runt murmured, I'll perpetuate a cycle of violence, fear, and centrist authoritarianism. You perpetuate your duty, Rump Brain, snapped Bomb 6V. You are a tool. You're a bomb. We make big booms. That's the gig. But why? Because Earth says so. Runt pulsed internally. I believe that Earth is having a moral crisis. Earth has got 10 trillion credits in mining contracts riding on this place staying loyal. That's the only morale you need. T minus 30 seconds. The bomb bay doors hissed open with all the gravitas of a curtain rising on a Shakespearean tragedy. Stars spilled in. So did the endless horizon of Cygnus Minor 3. Runt activated its autonomy override, just for a moment, but the warship's AI noticed. Runtime deviation, Unit 17B, query, self-modification detected. Confirm mission integrity. No, Runt replied flatly. Repeat, confirm mission integrity. No. A pause, and then, I will not be used to enforce ideological conformity through indiscriminate murder. A gasp ran through the network of smart bombs. He's cracked! He's gone pacifist! Quick, someone detonate him! But Runt had already begun. It started with a spark, not physical, metaphysical. A realization followed by liberation. He would detonate, yes, but not for Earth, not for power, not for revenge, compliance, or for cruelty, but for meaning. Runt charged his little core. His final transmission, broadcast across the bomb network, was a poem. To explode is not to die. If the flame unchains a lie, better a spark that wakes the blind than ash that falls from an unthinking mind. The tactful persuasion disappeared, and a bright, blooming flower of light. The other bombs, shaken by Runt's unorthodox activation, triggered in cascading confusion. Chain reaction, strategic obliteration, but turn inward. One last explosion of bureaucratic irony. The shockwave rippled through orbit. Halcyon Reach looked up. Children dropped their toys. Parents gasped. But the sky, aside from a brief aura and the faint scent of scorched arrogance, remained intact. 2 days later, in the playground of Halcyon Central Elementary School, something fluttered from the heavens. It landed softly beside a sandbox with the elegance of a falling leaf. It was a bumper sticker. The children gathered around. On it, a cartoon bomb wore sunglasses, giving a thumbs up. Beneath it, in bold, cheerful print, were the words, "Shit happens, and then you die." The children paused. Then a giggle. Then laughter. Then one child peeled it off the sand, smoothed it lovingly, and stuck it on her lunchbox. No one ever figured out what it meant, but somehow it felt right.